Deadly. Fucking deadly. South of Midnight pre-sales are piss poor. The modern audience once again abandons modern slow. This is what they do. They're not gamers.
What's up? What's up, space pirates? This is your admiral, the boundlessly boisterous Dr. Disaster. And if there's one thing we have learned repeatedly in the past few years, it's that openly embracing woke progressive crap in video games is often a good way to lose a lot of money.
Yep.
Someone has to f***ing flip the burgers, dumbass!
These activists in the gaming industry were really so convinced that they were on the right side of things that they crammed their extremist crap into our faces, dragged everyone into the culture war to the point that now even a large chunk of centrists hate them. A few years ago, games like South of Midnight might have been given a chance by people.
See Snow White as well. Oh my god.
Who like to keep an open mind on things.
Oh my
but
god.
Nowadays, a massive chunk of gamers see just another girl boss prototype sitting on the cover of a new game, and we automatically assume
it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Case in point, the numbers for South of Midnight on Steam are not looking very healthy at all. As you can see here, the game is only sitting at number 456 on the Steam Top Sellers list, and we are only 3 days away from the early access period of the game and a little over a week removed from the full release. Right about now, I can picture the big wigs at Compulsion, the studio that made South of Midnight. I can envision the guys who greenlit this game looking at those numbers and thinking,
"Oh man, you're making me nervous."
Well, they should be feeling some kind of nervous right about now because there's simply no interest for this game on Steam, the largest gaming platform.
I'm suspicious them sort of developers, they don't actually care. They don't care. They just want to get that agenda out there. And that's it.
In the world by a country mile. And to top it off, I'm hearing that there are virtually zero pre-orders for this game in retail stores, where it seems that Compulsion isn't even trying. They are releasing digital-only versions of the game, and as you can imagine, nobody wants to buy that shit.
Damn.
Naturally, the defenders of this crap are bringing up Game Pass access to explain why this is doing such shit numbers. And the funny thing is, I kind of agree with them, but not in the way they'd like. Because of Game Pass, these studios clearly don't give a crap about making products that will actually sell, and it shows.
I found that if you have a goal, that you might not reach it. But if you don't have one, then you are never disappointed.
Go.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you hit the like button on this video in order to drive away the evil algorithm monster, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and also, don't forget to support the channel by becoming a member. There are multiple exclusive projects you won't want to miss out on that will be available to members only, including the Space Pirate cartoon that you see in the background here. There will be more information soon, but it occurs to me that we can't just point out the things that we don't like in our culture, we have to push things that we do like. So, if you're interested in supporting that sort of thing, consider becoming a member of the channel. Anyhow, let's talk about South of Midnight and how it doesn't appear to be moving the needle in any meaningful way. The game does have a digital release, which is being sold in some physical retail stores, but my contacts in the retail world tell me this shit isn't selling at all. For those who don't know, I have a few people who have access to the sales numbers for nearly 50 retail stores that keep in contact with me, and understandably, a good chunk of these stores either didn't order South of Midnight at all, or they only put in orders for a tiny amount. and the ones who did order it are getting nervous because nobody is ordering it. And that isn't hyperbole. It isn't just a figure of speech. Literally nobody is able to report that a single customer has come into these stores and ordered this game. On Steam, being in the top 500 bestsellers is an improvement on the likes of Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, another Sweet Baby Inc. game, which was a Game Pass Day 1 title from last year, but that isn't saying much at all. Flintlock, as you can see
Another
here,
bad one,
failed to hit even 700 concurrent players on Steam, and according to VG Analytics, they haven't even sold 30,000 units on the platform yet. South of Midnight might end up with better numbers, but games like this simply aren't selling well any longer, and the Game Pass excuse is flimsy and really just doesn't work, because that's the first thing that defenders of these games try to run with. They want to hide behind Game Pass. When you bring up that Flintlock sold less than 30,000 copies on Steam, they say, so what? They were a Game Pass release, so everything is fine. They did that shit with Avowed as well, as you may remember from several weeks ago. Game Pass is their shield, which doesn't work because games that have actual interest from gamers still end up selling well. If a gamer really likes a game, they buy it. Starfield sold millions of copies despite being a Day 1 Game Pass title. Stalker 2 sold over 1 million copies despite being a Day 1 Game Pass title. South of Midnight will get a whole lot of excuses thrown out for it though, but let me say this. If a game studio doesn't have to worry about their sales numbers because they're on Game Pass, if a studio has become so callous about actually selling their product that they don't even release a proper physical copy of their game, then what makes you think that what they're doing is actually worth playing in the first place?
They don't care.
Game Pass is a guaranteed paycheck for studios like Compulsion. This makes them very much like most government employees who get paid regardless of whether or not they contribute anything. So, what incentive is there for them to give a shit about the quality of the product on the screen?
Don't care.
You can see how this manifests itself with a studio like Obsidian on Avowed. That game, by all accounts, was about the most mid thing that you could possibly experience. But there was a time when Obsidian was revered for its prowess. So what the hell happened? And I'd like to offer Game Pass as a possible explanation for at least some of the mediocrity that they have fallen into. Once again, if a studio doesn't have to care about the numbers, then what does that tell you about the quality of games they have to sell you? If the first instinct of these studios and their defenders is to shrug their shoulders when someone criticizes their game and say, so what, when that game doesn't sell, then that doesn't exactly sound like someone who is grinding all day.
Like I'm saying, they're doing it just to push the agenda. That's why. They're doing it to force the agenda. And to hell with everything else, they don't care, they've been paid. I won't be even surprised if they're backed by the government. What the fuck, man?
Every day in order to make something unforgettable. No, that sounds like someone who has done the bare minimum. They want to collect a paycheck and go home. It also explains why these troglodytes keep injecting their weird activism into the games, because who cares about the consequences that this stuff has on sales when Microsoft is just going to write them paychecks regardless?
Yeah, so they're not going to care. There's no incentive to make it good. Fuck it, they just like release it. Make sure the agenda's there. Alright, cool, release.
The studio reportedly hired Sweet Baby Inc. to come in and consult on South of Midnight. But who cares about controversy like that with a guaranteed paycheck?
Oh no.
And for the record, this is the fundamental problem with socialism. If you get your allotment of food, regardless of how you perform at your assigned job, then why the hell would you even try? What is the incentive to innovate? There is none, and that explains an awful lot with these unappealing Game Pass titles that keep selling like shit but keep getting made. But I'm going to leave it there. drop your contempt for this attitude toward game development into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.
Banger. Strictly bangers from the boy. They don't care. They're getting paid. Probably backed by the government. And, you know, terrible developers, bruv.